Panic.
Hey, Dalton's been here, how long?
I got my license in January of 21.
He's been here ever since,
Yes, correct, yeah.
and you've capped every year since you've been here?
I did not cap my first year. I missed by like $200-300.
Oh, that hurts.
That was brutal. It was not fun. So I made sure that I cap every year. Since then. All right. Yeah, I'm Dalton Clark. Mediocre agent. Here at KW.
Real humble guy.
And yes, I solo agent, not on a team. I hung my license with KW right out the gates. Love it here and have no intention to go anywhere else, and I'm glad you guys are here too, because at least for new agents or agents who are looking to up their game, I don't think there's anything out there. I did a lot of research before I joined the industry. KW is actually known for its training capabilities in the training industry, which is a thing like, you know, product training, sales training, who are, you know, in corporations that are good trainers. KW is a consistent top 2 or 3.
We were the #1. We all beat even Google and Apple
Right.
in their training.
But people don't realize
It's not just
KW has a
real
training division that like will work with McDonald's franchises and stuff like that. So the training here is tippy top notch, and yeah, you can drown in training here. Be careful of that, because while it's good that we have lots of training, you can also hide behind it instead of doing work. So I'm going to talk about defining value. I make all of my classes quite interactive, which means when I ask a question, I'm going to stare back at you until somebody answers me. Okay. And we'll just start it out with, oh, I'm so bad at going with the slides. Okay, sorry. So we're going to cover value proposition, what matters to buyers and sellers, defining your value proposition, some ahas, and of course, revisit that daily success system. Kicking it off. Anybody actually know what a value proposition is? Does anybody have a value proposition? Okay. Okay. What's your name? Candace. Might have to pick on you a little bit.
Good.
Okay, all right. So you're getting licensed?
Yes.
All right. So average home on the MLS, the average sales price on the MLS right now is about 600,000, right? Right? We can confirm, right? So everybody runs their business differently, but let's say that 6% is a average listing commission that a agent would charge and split with the buyers, right? Buyer's agent. So if we do that, that's $36,000. You're going to sit down with somebody. They're going to say, okay, what makes you worth $36,000? Terrifying, right? Yeah, exactly. That's why it's good to have a good value proposition. It's good to know your value, because at the end of the day, the root thing it does, if you care about nothing else, is it protects your commission, right? You're going to work hard for your clients. We all are going to do our best, but at the end of the day, if you're working really hard for your clients, but you're not getting what you're worth, if you're not making money, it's really hard to pay the bills, feed yourself and your family. It's an important part, and being able to convey the value that you bring to your clients is an integral part of the game. Because I know plenty of agents that they're nervous or can't convey, and therefore they take listings or work with buyers at lower commission rates. And they have to either do lots more business to make it work, or eventually it's just a burnout, right? Any questions on that? Okay. So asking my own question there, but. What's the value of a real estate agent?
He knows the market.
There, right? We just talked about some of that. Market expert, what else?
They help guide you away from potential legal issues.
A guide or a consultant,
Knows the contract.
those are
By knowing.
by knowing the contract and the process. Right? How else? What else is of value that you can bring as a real estate agent?
Marketing.
In the case of selling homes, marketing. Okay, we're gonna walk through some of these, and hopefully you walk away with some more like that. Do you think it's enough to just basically be a transactional agent, as in like, I know the process, just the steps of selling a home? Think that's enough anymore?
No.
So where can I go find that? As a Joe civilian? In big, at a high level, anyways, what?
Like homey or something.
Well,
like
you,
that, right?
you can get on the internet. How do I sell my home, right? Now, what you get back, what you find there and how well you can execute, and does it really get into the details, and is a for sale by owner gonna have as much success as a for sale by expert? No. And I can prove it every time, and then NAR does a annual survey. They do the research and they provide the data so that you can show for sale by owner, like, hey, you're gonna waste a lot of time. You could end up selling, but statistically, you're gonna make 8% less. So what happens if we agree that I'm gonna work for you for 6% and I earn you that much more, and you end up netting an extra 4% in your pocket? Isn't money the most important thing to you at the end of the day? Yes, okay, perfect, still. Right? So. It needs to be more. This is the end of the story, right? We have to be able to convey something more than. We have a list in our office that we know the point steps of how to sell a house. And I'm gonna ask you next. What's the difference between value and price? In the back, somebody. Take a stab at it.
I guess value is what your house is worth, price is just something that will. Just list your house out. Kind of.
In the right direction. Javier, was it? Right?
Yeah, how here it is. Well, value means like, for example, if you want a big yard. That house is gonna have more value than one with a small yard,
Okay,
even though the price is cheaper than the other one with the big yard, with the small yard, because he has more room. But you value more the yard than the room.
so value is something that is held individually in
And
some
price.
circumstances,
It's
right?
not price, it's the
Absolutely.
value of what they really
Mhm.
want, what's their
Right.
goal, what they want to accomplish.
If I'm a car guy and I want a 3-car garage, and here's a house with no garage on it, does that have any value to me at almost any price?
Even if it's.
Not really, right?
Even home. One-
Even if it's a beautiful home, if it doesn't have the garage, if it doesn't have what I value, I don't care what the price is, right? So. I'll go back to my actual notes and read it all out, but I like to keep it really simple. Price is what you pay, value is what you get.
Warren Buffett.
I mean, yeah,
Down from your last class.
that's hilarious. Yes. In terms of definitions, value is worth in usefulness or importance to the possessor, right? Basically what Javier said. It's personal. Whereas price is cost at which something is obtained. Price is what I pay, value is what I get.
You know,
So-
it's gotta come.
Please.
I have purchased probably 1, 2, 3, probably 5 homes.
Okay.
Nobody has asked me, what are your goals? What do you want to get from these houses?
Let's get you with terrible agents.
Yeah, nobody asked me anything. All they want me is, how much have you got? How much you got to put? So that makes me thought, for coming into this business, I thought, man, these guys are just for the money. They don't care about me.
Mhm.
According to this, they didn't even ask me that, hey, do you want to go to the contract or you just want me to give you a summary? until I came to, took the class, and all of these wasn't the contract, joint tenant, whatever. And I was like,
I wouldn't even really have a good guess at how many hours I've spent studying the contract, and I'll come to contracts class and still learn new stuff. I don't, and it's only 6 pages, depending on which contract we're talking, but I mean, it's nuts. It is really nuts how deep you can go in there and how read it incorrectly and you could be in a lot of hot water. So, yeah, it's Javier, welcome. You're gonna spend a lot of your time combating the how do I say this the right way? Combating the
transactional agent,
transactional agents. Let's go with that. That's
because you want to have a
the
relationship.
most PC thing I can come up with. Yeah.
oh, there you want.
Okay. So if price is what I pay and value is what I get, does it stand to reason that price will only be a problem in the absence of value?
Depends.
Depends. Say more.
I think it depends just because of, I mean, there's always like, like the champagne budget or the champagne desire on a bill, but for your
Okay.
budget, right?
Of course.
So, or like the couple, right? Wife wants the list,
Right.
husband wants garage.
Yep.
Or, whatever, like, or man cave, like,
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
So-
No, you're not wrong. And that's the overarching, but in terms of what, because promise you, you will all have this conversation, so get comfortable with it or be comfortable being uncomfortable with it. You're gonna have to talk money with people. If you come in with a nice warm referral, there's less of a chance of that, and they're just gonna, whatever you say. But if you're like, I know Brooke, Dakota, myself, Allison, we work cold calls, right? We try and drum up business, not just wait for it to walk in the door, because it pays a lot better, right? You're gonna have to have conversations with people like that, because if nothing else, if you're interviewing against other agents, everybody's gonna talk price. Right?
Mhm.
Want to add?
Well, and what motivates me to cold call and make the difficult calls, because a lot of agents say, I feel like I'm bugging them, and I'm like, I feel like I'm saving them
Exactly.
from working with a bad agent. Like, I literally feel like they need me to call them to see if they need my help.
100%. Especially the cancels and then it expires. They wanted to sell and they didn't.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's personal on their end, but most of the time it's because they had one of Javier's old agents who just signed the contract and never marketed it, and then was like, man, I don't know, it's not selling, weird, and just times out. So the point being, if you pay for what you expect to get and you get it, is there usually a problem in anything?
You're happy.
You're happy, right? Okay, but if you pay for something and you don't get what you're expecting, frustration, right? That price all of a sudden becomes a problem because you didn't get the value that you expected. So if I can convey all of my value, what can I then ask for?
money.
A nice price. Okay, all right. So value propositions is the way to deliver your value in a short sentence. I wrestle with value propositions. My value proposition is that we know what we're doing, and when you work with us, you'll know what we're doing too. Okay, my whole, everything I do comes from a root-centric, just making up words, roots of communication. My one experience buying a home, as the client, was I don't ever know what the heck is going on. And it could go on for days. I wouldn't hear from my agent, and it drove me mad. And then at the closing table, he made 2 days after we closed, I saw on Facebook, he's like, man, I'm so happy to help 8 people close their homes this past month. And I'm like, doing the math on that, I'm like, I should just stop this and get into real estate. I didn't. I later, made the jump, but like, if people like that can make the kind of money that he's making, I know I can do better. So anyways, that's my version of a value proposition. But you want to address specific and special needs of the buyer, sellers in your market, state what you're going to do for them, and hold your and it's also supposed to hold you accountable to some higher standards, right? And it does. You know what we're doing because I'm going to tell you. That's the basis of my business. Questions? Pretty clean. Okay, this is also something you're gonna wanna practice because when you're delivering your value, you're gonna have to be able to explain what it is you do and how you do it at a level that justifies whatever your price is, right? So I'll get in front of myself on the slides. Value propositions help your client understand your value and expertise. It protects your commission and it builds a strong and trusting relationship. All right. Got some examples. All of this stuff is in your binders, I believe, right? Because you have a copy of the slides as we're going through. Is that correct? Kind of hitting this.
Yeah,
it's Okay.
more like what you use.
Okay, all right. Oops.
I'll connect to your value. Just click it again.
Well, I was just wondering if they had those examples.
Yeah, back in there. I don't believe the pages run with the slides.
I'm not sure.
You're never sure what it is. There's examples on 4.11. Benefit to your client, benefit to your, well, those are different examples, sorry.
No, okay. You know, if I can go backwards, I'll do.
With the other button. You're like a back button, and then,
Right click.
are you clicking on the mouse?
Mhm.
You can do it on it.
Oh, there we go. That's really like a legit clicker. I thought you were working. All right, so couple of examples of value propositions. Okay. Slack makes it downright pleasant to work together. Okay. That's what they do. State Farm, here to help life go right. Kind of dig that, because when do you need insurance? Life's not going right.
I don't even know what Slack is.
Communication, and it's like peer-to-peer
It's like a
communication.
workplace social
Yeah.
media,
Yeah,
Kind of like Link.
more like WhatsApp.
yeah, it's like, yeah, or honestly, more like Discord, if you know what that is.
Yeah,
That's a good one. So we'll give you some ideas on how to work yours up as we move forward. So connecting to your value. As KW agents. What's some immediate value you get just by being a KW agent you can think of? Training. Think about it from the customer standpoint. What do they get because you're with KW? Okay,
Get a lot of support from the expertise.
right? You have 3 brokers here. Most brokerages like have 0.25 brokers, okay? So by that math, you have 12 times the brokers of the average brokerage. Okay, and that is, joking aside, Yankee's been at this for
Well, and
35
brokers
years.
like, plus there's agents that are brokers, that have their brokers. license.
Sorry, I mean like principal
But
brokers
yeah, but 3 brokers that are paid to help you.
to help you. Yeah, I should be more specific. You're correct. Between Sean, Ken, and Troy, that, my understanding and ability to do math in my head would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 90 years worth of Utah, right here on the northern Wasatch experience selling homes. How about that? How about your technology that you get? How about the app that you can give your clients? There's value in that, right?
We're a worldwide brokerage.
If they're moving from here to New Mexico, I can put them in touch with the best KW agent in New Mexico because I have a system to go find those people and I'll interview them, I'll introduce you, and I'll be your backup if you have questions or if things aren't going well. Is that valuable to somebody who's moving to a whole new city? Right? And of course, if they're moving, what are they doing here? Selling the house. Right? So you get a sell and a referral. KW is obviously a little biased here, but KW is hands down the best option that you can possibly choose for a brokerage to represent you in the sale or purchase of a home, period. And if you can dictate that, right, because oftentimes newer agents. Are like, I don't have any value. I've never done a transaction. I don't even have my license yet. Right? You got KW. How about all of our stats as a brokerage? Say, oh yeah, me and my team, my crew, the people I work with, we sell 150 homes a month. Okay. Now, if they're like, how many do you sell? You gotta be, well, you know what? And you gotta have that answer ready to go. I haven't sold any yet, but man, am I, so you know what that means, Candace? That means you're going to get 100% of my attention, right?
Right.
Okay, by the way, you wanna know how many times I've ever been asked how many homes I've sold? 0. Most people don't ask. Most people don't even ask how long I've been in the business. Most people, yeah. Walk in with a little bit of confidence, they assume you've been doing it for years. Okay, anyway, fiduciary, we've been over this definition already in prior classes, right? You understand what the fiduciary role is?
We did like fiduciary versus functionary.
Yes, beautiful, okay, all right. So there's value in that now. If you have to separate yourself from other agents, that's a little bit trickier because. Well, if you're ready to have that conversation, you can do it, right? And that, what does a fiduciary do for you? I bring this value to.
How could you guys separate yourself from other agents right now?
In the fiduciary categories. Personally, I won't double end transactions because I don't believe that you can. Fully perform your function as an agent on both sides of a party. Or in 2 parties. So I have a system that I bring another agent in, no matter what the circumstances are, that way that's how I separate myself, right? Back to transactional agents, guess what they love? Double ending, as it's called, representing both sides of a transaction, and it's all because it's for the money.
Because that's exactly where I'm going though, like you've already learned how much you need to care about your client as a person.
And that's just my
what
personal,
sets you apart.
that's just my personal. And there are lots of great agents that will double end, I just won't do it. It's my way I run my business. You can run your business however, it's legal in the state, so you're not doing anything illicit. And then obviously, value wise. Knowing your market, being a true market expert brings that value, and if you can convey how you're a market expert to your clients. And what that means for them, remember, their value isn't what you can do, it's what it means to them. What do they get from it? Okay, questions? There it is. Oh. There's all the stuff I can talk about. All right, take a quick break. Ahas, what do we got? Or do we want to do them all at the end? That's fine with me too. Okay, great. All right. What matters to buyers and sellers? So when you're gonna talk about your value. Whose eyes should you be developing that conversation in? What's important to you or what's important to the client, right? Okay, buyers in general. Never make assumptions, always ask questions, but in general, their goal is to find the right home at the best price, at the right time, with the least number of problems. As a general guideline, that's about right. Sellers' goal is sell for the most amount of money, net the most amount of money, excuse me. That's an important differentiation. In the shortest amount of time with the least number of problems. Okay, so there's one factor in there that ties both those together, which is what? Least number of problems. Overarching theme here is he who tells, he or she, they who tell the best story. Living in the state, wins the conversation. Okay, so conveying your value is best done in some sort of story form. So whether that be, I'm going to send around a couple of examples of the way I convey my value. You guys are welcome to take photos, and if you want copies, they'll be in the recap email. But being able to answer those questions up front, and then again, when you're interviewing, I've found to be very powerful. So
You're gonna send these in?
Sure. Get them on the website. It's not secretive.
But he is emailing me. PDFs so that they'll be in the email.
So. Use this as a way to build your own, because you gotta have conversations in two levels, right? You gotta have buyers and sellers value propositions. Now we know that. They both want to have hassle-free, trouble-free, problem-free transactions, right? And so some of that will overlap. But, right here mapped out in front of you. 10 sections, categories, parts of the buyer process in which you can target your personal value proposition. Any one of those jump out at anybody? Okay. Sellers, same idea.
I think sometimes we want to complicate it too and make it
Yes,
like we have to do something more than this.
Right.
It's how you do these things.
and your one single, your UVP, unique value proposition that you write doesn't have to address every single stinking one of these 10, right? But be able to talk about how you bring value in those different categories, because different clients are gonna have different questions. Right? Mine just centers around communication, and so, pretty close preparation, you'll get an email from me that maps out the last 7 days of our transaction before we go into closing day and what you need to be considering. Okay, do I write that by hand every single time? Nope, I have a template, plug in the data I need to plug in, and I hit send. But it keeps them informed, they know what's going on. Keeps things calmer, everybody. When you set an expectation and then you meet it, you suppose that everything's good then? Ah, all right, perfect.
Well, and I think this is something I always think of, no news is good news.
Kind of.
But they still need to know. that
Depending on the
there's no
situation.
news.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the rebuttal.
No news is good news. So if you
Oh my
don't
gosh.
have any news, but you text them and say, hey, nothing's changed, we're still on.
Yep.
Blah, blah, blah,
Yep.
blah. Is it looking good? That's
Yep.
what I mean.
Yep,
But even if you don't have, hey, the next thing is this, it's happening tomorrow.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
I'm saying if there's no update or you don't have anything different,
Needs analysis,
just tell them,
Yep.
no news is good.
right, my needs analysis. I have a communication qualification that I go through with every single client. I set the expectation on how often they're gonna be communicated with the first 10 days. Through the rest of the transaction, all the way to the end, and also at what points. I need feedback from them on how the communication is going, because some people want to be left alone, and if nothing's wrong, just leave me alone. There's those people, and then there's people who are like, I want to know what you had for breakfast every day, because I want you eating Wheaties, so that way my house sells at top dollar.
Yeah.
And everything in
So
between.
that no news text would be like, hey, doll, I'm just letting you know I had Wheaties again this morning.
Bingo.
That's the no news
Bingo.
text.
Absolutely, thank you,
And
good.
then the next day, hey.
Find me a
good
bar,
morning,
Dakota.
hope you have Wheaties.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yep.
that's the notice.
Beautiful, okay. So what do buyers want most from their agent, right? It would make sense that if you're gonna write up a UVP, or if you're gonna target some particular. Part. Of the process that you really bring a lot of value to. See what they're worried about. Help finding the right home to purchase. Still blows my mind that that's. In today's age, that's it, but that's it, this comes out of that NAR study that I mentioned. Then they need help negotiating the terms of the sale, help with the price negotiations and other.
What would? I know some of these answers, but what would some of those other things be that buyers need help with?
no idea.
No idea?
No.
How about repairs? How about
Scheduling.
inspections? How about? Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say scheduling, inspections, figuring out the repairs, those are the.
You help
managing
facilitate that?
contracts,
You just like
honestly.
get them in contact with somebody, like we just have a connection here that you.
Sure, so in the buyer's example, buyers or sellers, either way, it. So depending on the market, you get under contract. And then they get the inspection done, and this is where the depending on market comes into play. If there's some repairs that they would like done, the buyer would like done before the close of the transaction, they will propose that based on the results of the inspection. And so seller goes, I don't know anybody that does X, or on the buyer's side, hey, we need an expert roofer to come take a look to see if it, because the inspection says it looks like it has 5 to 7 years left. So what would it take? Or plumbing, electrical, and so being the weaponized agent that you are, you have a contact.
Right.
You
Our
that
Facebook page, literally, you have a guy
It's-
for everything.
everything,
Yeah.
on our-
Yeah. and you can
Facebook.
ask, or you can just pop right in and search for plumber in our group, and it'll just pull up all the conversations anybody's already ever asked about who's got a great plumber.
A lot of times it's a screenshot of a contact with a phone number right there.
Yep.
You know, phone number.
Okay,
Some of the other things that I think buyers could want, though, is like that communication piece. But I think ultimately they want to be led. They want to know what's next.
yep, and even that depends greatly on what type of buyer you're dealing with. If you're talking about an investor, who do this a lot. They're
They
pretty
already know
comfortable.
what's next.
They know what's going on. It's okay. Thank you. I don't need to know about your Wheaties.
Yeah.
Let me know if things are going sideways. Okay? But first time home buyers, especially the younger they are, like here in the headlights, just, I don't even, please help me. They don't know what's going on. And that's, like everybody gets the same amount of communication out the gates and then we adjust, but that's one where, I have the graphic and then follow along, set them up in the app and they can watch the checklists, all the stuff. Okay? Honest, trustworthy, experience, and reputation. So for the first two, do you have to even have a single transaction under your belt to qualify for the number one most important thing besides other? Right? If you're honest and trustworthy, that's what people are looking for. So if you can convey that in your UVP, in your storytelling, that'll help you a whole ton. That make sense? Experience. If you don't have any, lean on the brokerage. If you've got some, like the couple of listings, one of those two stories that you saw from me, the tale of two agents. It's a story of an expired listing that I picked up. Right, sat on market for 134 days, price dropped $90,000. Never got sold. I picked it up, we priced it right, I marketed it right. Got 2 offers, got it under contract at full price, got it sold in off market in 33 days. Right, there's a story. You don't have that yet, you'll get there one day. Meanwhile, and the reputation, that's a tough one to build, but don't focus so much on the reputation of the agent. This, in my opinion, really just comes from like referrals, right? You walk in the door with a reputation because Allison's like, you gotta hire Dalton because he's the best guy ever. He's helped me with 3 transactions. All right. What do sellers want? Help price home competitively. As you guys dip into this and start experiencing for sale by owners. That's where that comes from, because they're like, well, let's see. Neighbor sold his for 500,000, 800,000 for a similar house seems reasonable. I bet I can get it. We'll go. It never works out. Also, sellers need help finding buyers. Again, from the FSBO side of things, one of our biggest values is that I have a book of buyers. I work with agents, right? When I sit down with FSBO, I literally sit down every 2 weeks with our brokerage and we discuss who's selling what and who's got buyers that need what. Right? There's something right there that you guys have right here today. You don't have to have years and tons of transactions. Right? Oddly enough, they want the same stuff the buyers want in terms of In terms of choosing an agent, what do they look at? Okay. So I already bounced off of this a little bit. Don't forget your technology. We have it. It continues to get better every day. And some of it's KW, but even just basic things like email templates and a deployment schedule for when they go out is a huge leverage that you can use. But specifically for Keller Williams, you know, Dakota, when we list your house, I have a list of buyers that I'm gonna email about the open house that is just listed. When we have that open house, they're gonna get 2 emails from me just in case they know somebody that might be looking. That's just gonna be an automated thing that my technology runs for.
How many agents are in your office?
230 to 240. Okay,
Did you know that?
I knew there was around 200.
yes, it was, we were dancing between like 190, 210. Then we brought on Eden, the recruiting machine, and she's just printing agents.
That's probably where a lot of.
Print agents and name badges.
Yeah, did you get that interview with Eden? She's formidable. She's fantastic. Do what she
She's
does.
been a great asset.
Absolutely.
And she was
Absolutely.
she was with Keller Williams just with. Oh, wait,
Yeah, she was one of the, she's in the, in the Salt Lake
Somewhere south.
offices.
yeah. And then she moved up here.
And then not only is she great at getting you guys to see the value of joining KW, but she can help you at a level as an agent, like lean on her. She's part of the leadership team and she's extremely qualified to do that. Help you out, okay? How we covered. All right, so defining that value proposition. Let's get into that. So how are you gonna do it? Nuts and bolts. You don't have to have experience in real estate with transactions and teams and all that stuff to be able to put together a UVP. This does a good job of it. I like this part of this presentation. Identify your knowledge, attitude, skills, and beliefs that make you qualified to be a great real estate agent. And it could be, where can you find some past experience that you have that could apply to real estate? Prior jobs, clubs,
Experiences.
If you bought a house or sold a house before.
right? Literally mine, right? That kind of terrible communication, like, I could do better than that. That's my,
That's why you got a house. It's one of the reasons.
yeah, right. Okay. If you were in the debate club in high school, think you might be a decent negotiator? Real possible. I mean, it's one of my favorite parts of this job is the negotiating side. But so many new agents, myself included, like, well, I don't have any skill sets because I've never done this before. But we do so much as agents. How about marketing? Anybody have any of you a marketing degree or been, you know? You ever been on social media? There, you have more social media experience. Right?
The other thing that's really great is all these skills can be learned.
That's the other part. Absolutely. Any skills that you don't have or that you would like to make stronger, there's something in the KW sphere to help you out. Either here in person, through KW Connect. Right, Connect,
Mhm.
right?
We literally had.
I mean, just,
Social media marketing class on Tuesday.
yeah,
And then we had another social media expert marketing class today.
today.
And both of them were super good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed both.
so,
Rachel Adams Leo was a YouTube thing, right?
She was on Zoom. She does Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
She does a massive.
she does.
social media.
Yeah, she did. She received, this is what she told us today. Last year, she received 131 referrals. Looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate
Through social media, through her social media presence.
through social media.
Mhm.
It's crazy.
But she works it, she has a system, she's consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Which is the way.
A lot of people are like, well, there, I have a Facebook account now, so I'll just wait.
Yeah,
Not how that goes. Let me tell you. So identify it, then transform the value you provide in the value of KW. And your market center. Into benefits, right? We talked about this a little bit earlier. Saying. I'm a great marketing agent because I have a background in marketing from another lifetime. As the client, why do I care? What does that matter to me? One of the things I see the miss on the most in most presentations, listing or otherwise, is if you don't connect the dots for why it matters to the client, they don't care. Remember, we all care about us. Right? Oh, I'd love to help you sell your home. Great. What are you bringing to me? I'm glad you'd love to. What do I get out of it?
what's in it for them? It's a great book.
Mhm. How about instead of, I'd love to help you sell your home? Oh, man, I'd love to help you find the buyer that'll pay you the most for your home. Turn it around, put the spotlight on them, because that's what people want. It's about me. If you remember that, that helps, that can help shape your value proposition. Questions? Here's those three again.
I thought you weren't gonna pull in the slides.
Just get the jabber. And also I'm supposed to stand behind the computer and read to you what it says in the PowerPoint, and it's. I mean, I understand why they did it, but I can convey the ideas. Okay. All right, so I think that's at the end, because now we're into the, yeah, all right. Ahas. I want 4. I want 5. I'll keep going up, so everybody has to give me one. Didn't change anybody's world
Oh
today.
my gosh, you guys, I don't know how.
Jeez. Good Lord. I'm gonna go cry.
What you love.
Exactly.
Dalton. Right now, I'm not leaving.
I was gonna say,
Oh, the code is afraid of you.
well, I was flipping
Watching you.
the right pages. Back on connect your value, you know, like you said, it doesn't matter anything unless you can connect the dots for
Mhm.
them. It's this little question says, how does being a part of Keller Williams family bolster your personal value proposition? I wrote, it holds me accountable to a higher standard, right? So if you say to a client, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z,
Mhm.
then you better be doing X, Y, and Z, right?
Mhm.
If you say I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z, but you only do
Mhm.
X and Y, they're gonna be like, that never happened. And a lot, you know, some people will
And the
call
best
you
part
out
is
on
you
it.
have no idea what part of your promises they're gonna latch onto.
Right. Some people, you know, won't say anything, but they'll remember it. And then there's other people that will confront you, and be like, yo, you said you were gonna do this, why didn't you do it? And then what are you gonna say? Right, so I don't know, I just like how it does hold you to a higher accountability.
Cool. Good. Anybody else?
What else?
Does Mama Rusty have to get mad?
Building your proposition. You know, whether it's a flyer or some, or something you can send them. Or see on my website or see that on my social media.
Or even a conversation piece, though. You just gotta be able to convey it to them.
I usually write it down on my sleeve, but some are short sleeve.
Oof,
I don't
that's
know.
tough, yeah.
It's like the. Rubber.
But yeah, so that was a.
Well, yeah, and by no means, like, Dalton, what's your, you know, why would I hire you? I don't just throw those papers at him and say, call me, you know. There's all of that is up here, but when I'm hosting open houses, guess what I have with me to send with people who I want to work with? Those things, right?
And with experience, once you have experience with a client, you could say, here's a few things that my clients told me that they enjoyed with our. During the transaction, so it's not me saying it. it's what they're, this is what they said, that way you're not. This just gives it a little bit of kick.
Validity.
Yeah, you know, literally, a month ago, I was open housing and had a last minute show up. They were walking around. I was just chatting with them. They're, oh yeah, we gotta buy something new. We got 4 kids and we have bedrooms and gotta upgrade, da, da, da. And so asking them questions and get to the point where I'm like, well, you know, who's listing the house? Well, we're still figuring that out above the interview. That'd be all right? Okay. I was like, cool. We set the date and time. And I was like, just out of curiosity, what's gonna be the most important factor to you in the agent that you hire? And they go, well, when we bought our house, we felt like there was just like no communication from the buyer's agent. I was like, weird, you know what? I just so happen to really believe in that. It's a core fundamental of my business. So I think we really probably will have a lot to talk about. Sound good? Talk to you guys later. Find the listing. See you guys later. So it having that on cue, being able to deliver why what you do matters to them, what they can benefit from is the underlying purpose of a value proposition. Because if you can't do that, then you're just, I don't know, panhandling, please, money. Right? I'm just saying.
I feel
Okay.
like we can have at least one more. There we go.
I'll be right.
I was thinking a little bit what you said, sometimes when you go and buy a home, then you said, this was my agent, you expect, don't know what. So that's where you come in and you have to explain, well, this is what you're gonna get from me. Out of the flyer,
Mhm.
you're gonna get communication, that's the first most important part of it.
Mhm.
And then you're gonna get honesty.
Mhm.
And you find some problems within the house, I'm gonna tell them.
Mhm.
So you can make up your mind, but sometimes you tell the problem, they say, oh, it's up to you, it's your decision, and all that stuff. But once you tell them in the long run, man, if you buy this house within 5 years, you have to replace the roof, or anything, you know?
Mhm.
So you can become an expert on what you are doing. And that's the last thing that I see on most of the people that sell things. I'm a salesman all my life.
Yeah, nice.
And I sold forklifts and heavy equipment to people that didn't want to buy nothing,
Right.
but
You
what
were,
was the difference? Explain to them what was the benefit of working. And that's why I think we need to focus on that. What
Features
you guys
and the-
need from it for this list.
Hmm.
But don't expect them to know. You have to explain to them. Like that fire, I love that fire, by the way.
thank you.
It's good. I like that.
Appreciate it.
The comment in regard to the roof, you know, maybe in 5 years, that's gonna have to be replaced. I was always under the impression that we're supposed to be the source of the source. We're not that kind of expert.
Absolutely. So,
It
practice
was
say,
just a thing.
yeah, he's giving an example. What he would really say, of course, is like, I'm not a contractor, but it looks like that roof might be towards the end of its life and we'll get it inspected to be sure. Right? I say.
One more thing though.
Hmm.
The inspector sucks.
I disagree.
Hire a better inspector, yeah, good inspectors are worth their weight in gold.
Sometimes they say, oh, this one charging $250. This one charges 600. And heck, I want to see what the 600 is charging.
Mm,
The 250 sucks. They didn't tell me that the roof on my son's house, it was bad.
mhm,
We had to repair it,
mhm.
that was gonna leak with the rain. Why? Because it was all cracked. You can easily see that. I'm not a roof guy, but if it's cracked, of course it's gonna leak water. So
Yeah.
I said, I wouldn't go with the cheapest. Get rid of the cheapest. Those are not good.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes you get what you pay for.
600 is gonna test for radon, whatever, radon,
Mhm.
and then man, whatever, you know?
Mhm.
So I think you have to guide them a little bit more.
100%.
That's your expertise.
Yeah.
On my point of view, because like I said, my health experience, man, I'm telling you.
Well, glad you joined us so you can make other people's experiences better. That's spend half of my time fighting the leftover stereotypes of transactional agents. Anything else? Any questions? Okay, well, then take those 6%, I guess. Okay.
Okay, I will send out a recap email that has these attached for you guys to see.
She might, you send them,
I did send it, I think your email bounced, a couple emails,
so I gotta write it right.
yeah, gotta write it a little better. And then, I think I got it from someone else, let me have,
Oh, we're gonna get a double email account, and
what?
we're gonna get a
Mhm.
double.
Yeah. You should get a KW email, account. If you haven't yet, Kylie sets those up,
I don't know, probably not.
okay. So she'll set it up for you. So that would be good, and then okay, I have your email. You just, so I'll send out a recap email that will have all the resources from tonight. So what was your guys's biggest takeaway of the night? What are you gonna put in action tomorrow?
Action steps.
JC?
Find the dog.
You gonna climb up on that dock or what?
I think. I'm thinking about having the market, knowing the numbers, knowing the market. A lot of times, especially as a new agent, I mean. I would say 50% of the agents don't do it.
Even-
25% do a little bit here and there, but there's only a few that do it consistently, so. And the thing is you don't have to have